This video is brought to you by Deity. Test, 1, 2, test. Let's talk about B-roll and sounds. Say you shoot a video with a bunch of B-roll shots. You can put music underneath it and it will probably be nice. Let's have a look at an example right here. Great, that was Kevin, by the way. Thank you, Kevin, for that awesome performance. However, we are missing some dynamic, depth. One of the foundations of what we call a cinematic video. Don't worry, Kevin, it's not your fault, it's ours. We should have recorded sound as well. So let's do that. Let's record sound. To capture clean audio, one of the general rules is to bring your microphone as close as possible to the subject. But that's not always so convenient. Kevin likes to use the space around him. So the best thing that you can do is to boom. We're using the Deity Mic 2, which is this one right here. It's a great shotgun microphone and is directed to the subject and will therefore capture its audio much cleaner. Now, this microphone is super useful when you have a sound guy with you, but not so convenient when working alone. It's pretty big, it's heavy, plus it connects through an XLR cable, which not all cameras have. So that's where these mics comes in. These are also shotgun mics, but in a much smaller and lighter form factor. These are the Deity V-Mic D3 and its Pro variants. Now, they just snap onto your camera and connect through a mini jack. Now, the Pro version of this mic actually has an analog volume control, which makes it very useful when shooting run and gun or when vlogging, as you can change the volume without having to go in your menus. Now, if your camera sits at a distance, you could hook up one of the video mics to your cell phone and use that as a recorder. Because like mentioned before, you want to have your mic as close as possible to the action. Now, a third and final solution is to work with lav mics, and actually Deity also have a few of them. This one right here is the V-Lav, and the great thing about this mic is that its cable is 5 meters long. No idea how much that is in feet or knees or toes or noses, whatever. I'll leave somewhere it right here. And this is great, as that gives you some distance to tuck away the mic and have the cable, run to your camera or to an audio recorder. Wireless transmitters like this one right here are pretty expensive. So if you're starting out and you don't need more than 5 meters, then this is actually a great solution to start with. Now, what I typically like to do is record the audio in 3 stages. The first one is the master take. Here I shoot the entire action from a tripod and come as close as possible with the microphone to the subject. And you might think now, your microphone is in the frame, Jordy. Well, no worries. When I'm done, I let the camera roll and ask everyone to step out of the frame. This is my empty shot, which I can place on top of my action shots and draw with a mask inside Premiere Pro or any other editing software over that boom mic. And bada bim, bada boom, the boom is gone. The second type of shots are going to be the close-ups while the camera is moving. Now, this time you don't want to come into the frame with your mic. However, since the camera is close on the subject, you also have some room with the mic to come closer. And here's a little extra tip that I got from Deity. If you have your microphone right here, grab some very vibrant tape such as green and just wrap that around the mic like this. Now, this way, whenever you do get into the frame with your mic, the cameraman will see it much clearer than if you would have like a black mic coming into the frame. And that way, the camera guy can yell at you instead of the editor during the post-production. So a really good tip, guys. And I'm gonna leave a link to Deity's YouTube channel in the description below. Personally, I think it's the best audio tutorial channel out there. They have some really good tips, and that is not because they're sponsoring. I really mean that, guys. And then also, I'm gonna leave a link to all of these products here in the description below. So So we've got a master take and audio during the close-ups, but there's one last audio recording that we're missing, and that is Foley. There are always shots where you're unable to record sound, such as in long shots where you can't really hide the mic, or specific actions that don't really have good sounds when recording it for real. Now, to give that some more context, we edited the video, and one of the shots is where Kevin pulled off his t-shirt. Now, sounds for these kind of shots need to be recorded afterwards. In other words, Foley. The great thing about this is that in most cases you don't need your subject anymore. So you can do this afterwards, and I would even suggest to do this after the edit is complete so that you have a better sense of the audio that needs to be recorded. And for that shot, why am I even holding this mic? So for that shot where Kevin pulled off his shirt, I simply recorded the sound of me pulling on a cloth. Now, just like with video, guys, you don't need to just throw your audio into a timeline and export it. There is some post-production work to really get the most dynamic out of your audio. And so, I have 3 super simple tricks that you can do starting with stereo mix. Most microphones are mono, meaning that they only record one track, and you might see 2 tracks from your camera or recorder, but that's simply the same audio signal, so you end up with 2 mono tracks. Now, inside Adobe Premiere Pro, or basically any other editing program, you can find a pan option for your audio, which means that you can pan the audio from the left to the right or from the right to the left. And you can create keyframes for that option, having the audio animate from one side to the other. So if you match that with a specific action, it'll sound really cool. The next one is pitch shifter, a very simple effect which allows you to change the pitch of the audio, and very often context sounds like break dancing doesn't really sound deep enough, so that's where I tend to lower the pitch. And sometimes I would even animate the pitch, for example when time remapping your shots. It's really cool to let the pitch of your audio go down as your clip goes into slow motion. Now be aware, guys, this only works with context sounds, not with voice. Voice will sound really weird when pitched. Tip number 3, under essential sounds when choosing dialogue, you can set up a reverb to your audio. Now, if you like to have a very hard reverb like church and increasing it all the way, a lot of your frequencies will get lost. You see, that doesn't sound super great. So to fix that, I duplicate my audio clip and set a reverb to only one of them. Playing around with the volume of the clips, you can mix them better together. And this way you are retaining all of the frequencies but still have that awesome reverb. And having seen that last result, let's have a look at the entire edit now without music. Notice how the sound design almost becomes the music. And that was it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Deity, for the support. Guys, check out these great products and also their YouTube channel. Thank you guys for watching. I already said that. Oh yeah, and as always,
stay creative. And as always, stay creative.
That's not good.